So in this lecture, we are going to discuss where to get the code for this course. The code for this course mostly comes in the form of Colab notebooks. However, it is also possible for some of the code in this course to be provided in plain text Python files, which will be hosted on GitHub. So how can you tell the difference? Well, it's very simple. If you see a notebook interface on the screen, that means that code will be provided in the form of a notebook. If you see Python in a text editor, then that code will be on GitHub. Now, the main thing I want you to understand is that the notebooks are not on GitHub. Okay, so the notebooks are not on GitHub. Okay, so specifically, how can you get these resources? The answer is to simply click on the Resources tab attached to this lecture. Then, click on the link that says Code Link. Please note that this link will require you to be logged into the website. Therefore, if you get an error message reminding you that you need to be logged in, simply log in and then use the same link. If you do not yet have an account such that you can log in, simply create an account. So for GitHub resources, and remember, this does not include notebooks, but just plain text Python when necessary, the direct link has been attached to this lecture. In addition, you will usually also find a file called extrareading.txt, which contains supplementary reading material for this course, including books, tutorials, journal articles, and so forth. Please note that this GitHub repository contains folders for all of my courses. Essentially, it's one folder per course, although there are some exceptions. However, clicking on the link in the resources will take you directly to the relevant folder. Now, you guys are always surprising me with the mistakes you make, so here's the most recent one I've been seeing. Please remember that the link attached to this lecture goes directly to the relevant folder for this course. And remember that it's one folder per course. Therefore, if you start looking around in other folders and you have no idea what those files are, that's normal. You don't have to come and ask me, what does this mean and what does this mean, because they are probably not relevant to you. You're not supposed to understand what those files are if you're not taking the corresponding course. What I'm seeing is students are sometimes going to these folders and then telling me that they can't find the code. Well, of course you can't find the code if you go to the wrong folder. Okay, so just remember, one folder per course, and the link right here goes directly to the correct folder. If you go anywhere else, you are going to be confused.
Please note that after clicking the code link, you may be presented with further instructions. These instructions are not complicated, but they do need to be followed. In the past, some students have had trouble following these instructions. If you try the code link but do not arrive at the expected result, then please double and triple check the instructions again. As a hint, please do not go browsing around this website trying to find the code. That is not how to find the code. The code will only be available using the aforementioned code link. I'll repeat that one more time for good measure, since some of you will miss this the first time. Do not go browsing around the website looking for the code. Only the aforementioned code link will bring you directly to the code.
Now, there's one mistake that many students make, even after I've mentioned it once or twice. Therefore, I found that it is necessary to mention it 3 or more times. So far, this seems to be the magic number. Okay, so what's the mistake? It's that people forget that the Colab notebooks are not on GitHub. So I repeat, the Colab notebooks are not on GitHub. And let me repeat that one more time for good measure. The Colab notebooks are not on GitHub. Okay, so hopefully that's enough to get the point across. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next lecture.